Oh, okay, sorry. Hello, everyone. Before we get started, I'd like to thank my friend Preston, well, Legolas, who did a video on Schmeagol and Gollum last week. He did a really good job. And also, just wanted to introduce my camera lady. This is my sister, Brianna.
Hi.
And she's going to be holding up the poster and all that stuff. Okay. So, I guess we'll just get started. Should have taken the camera. Okay. Crap. First of all is Bomber, and I'm just going to do it according to my poster because it's just too hard to keep going like that. So, Bomber. He lived in Erebor after the Battle of the Five Armies, and we don't really know a lot about him, except he grew to be like 10 times even more fatter than he was. He couldn't even walk from one place to another. And he had to have 6 young dwarves to pick him up and carry him from like his chair to his bed, and from his bed to his chair, and all that stuff. He was alive during the War of the Ring, we know, and he simply died of old age. Bifur. He was alive during the War of the Ring. He lived in Erebor, and he simply died of old age. Not much known about him. Dori, same as these two, except we do know he lived a little bit longer than Bifur, and simply died of old age. Bifur lived in Erebor, and he became like one of the top 3 richest dwarves in Erebor, and he was alive during the War of the Ring, and he simply died of old age. You already know what happened to these guys. Dwalin really didn't do anything, but he lived in Erebor. He was alive during the War of the Ring, and we know, and we know that he lived longer than all of the other remaining dwarves. He died of old age. Balin was probably the busiest of them all. In the autumn, like maybe 10 years before the War of the Ring, he visited Bilbo in the Shire, but then he led an expedition to Moria to take back the fallen kingdom. He set up a colony there and set up himself like Lord of Moria, sort of, and lived there for 5 years, but then was shot by an orc when he went down to look in the pool of Miramir. And he was buried in the chamber of Mazerville. Not sure if I pronounced that right. Okay, Nori, he was the same as brothers. He lived in Erebor, simply died of old age, but he was alive during the War of the Ring. Also, one of the top 3 richest dwarves. Gloin was one of the very few dwarves who actually had a family. He had a wife and he has a son, Gimli. And not much is known except that when the Council of Elrond was taking place, Dane, who was at the time Lord of Erebor, like king, he sent Gloin and Gimli to find out what happened to the people in Moria, because they hadn't heard from him in a long time. So, anyway, we know he was alive during the War of the Ring and died of old age. Ori and Oin both went with Balin, they both went with him to Moria, but Ori was kind of like the scribe. He kind of created a journal. It was called the Book of Records. And he simply died of old age. Well, not old age. He was shot. Anyway, Oin was taken by the Watcher in the Water, who you probably recognize as the long tentacly thing that tried to kill Frodo in The Lord of the Rings. So that's what happened to the rest of the dwarves. Thanks for watching. Okay.